Dear friends, Suprabhat, good morning, Pranam, Vadakkam, and Jai Shri Krishna to all of you. Today is Mahavir Jayanti, तो हनुमान जयंती सॉरी, तो सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हनुमान जयंती की. I am Sagar Goyal. Welcome you all to the Tech Web webinar series day 3. First of all, I personally thank you all for joining this technical webinar series in such a large number. As yesterday there were 219 registrations and 176 participants were watching it. As this is a knowledge sharing webinar, we try to cover some of the most important topics. We would like to give your comments. We would like to give you to your comments and feedback by the way of messages or mail to us by at info@ipcaonline.com or on my personal email, that is president@ipca.com. I would like to give a brief introduction of IPCA, Indian Paint and Coating Association. It is an amalgam of paint, ink, coatings, resins, pigments, packaging manufacturers, and raw material traders and machinery manufacturers. It has a pan-India presence. We have various regions, Delhi NCR, Maharashtra, Western UP, Central UP, MP, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Gujarat, Telangana, Andhra, Agra, and Kerala. We are at present 1,500 strong and growing members. IPCA has been in the forefront of organizing path-breaking events benefiting the paint and coating industry like KSS, knowledge sharing seminars, IPCA Connect cluster programs, regional residential conferences, mega biennials. In our last biennial, more than 750 participants were there. We arrange technical workshops with certification courses in coating, technology, cooperation with IIT Delhi, Color Society Mumbai, Government of India, IICT Hyderabad. And which we are going, this webinar, this is a new concept of technical webinar. As I said yesterday also, that how the COVID-19 is going to change our business and our ways of thinking in future after the lockdown period to be over. We have to face new challenges. These challenges may differ from business to business. These challenges will greatly, there will be a financial challenges to our businesses and to some extent, and it will give us the opportunity to improve ourselves vis-a-vis on technical front by introducing new products to the market. Day we learned about waterproofing technologies. Day 2 we learned about emerging technologies in architectural coating, and today the day 3 our esteemed lecturers will give us knowledge on polyols for polyurethane coatings. This presentation is given by Cardolite Corporation, USA, and today's speaker will be Mr. Alan Meningis and Mr. Ravinder Mukawar. I will give a brief introduction of Alan and Mr. Ravinder. Mr. Alan is a sales manager of India and Middle East in Cardolite Corporation. He is a science graduate from Mumbai University with more than 20 years of experience in paint industry. He has worked at Mahindra & Mahindra, Godrej & Boyce, Jotun Paints, Kansai Paints, and now at Cardolite Corporation for more than 9.5 years. And one of the most important thing, he is the first employee of India in Cardolite Corporation. And Mr. Ravinder Mukawar, he is the manager sales for India and Middle East region to develop new coatings in Cardolite Corporation. He has 20 years of experience in epoxy, PU, and polyurethane coatings. Now, over to you, Mr. Ellen and Ravinder. Yeah, Mr. Ellen, are you hearing me?
Sagar, yeah, Sagarji, thanks a lot for the introduction. It has always been a pleasure to come to this platform, which is IPCA. And as you know, Cardolite has always been one of the sponsors, if required, and one of the first ones to come ahead and present. So we are happy, as always, to present in this IPCA seminar.
Thank you.
So should I start ahead? Should I go ahead with the presentation?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So good morning to, yeah. So good morning to everyone in the group. Okay, we will, from Cardolite side, we warmly welcome you to this beautiful series of web seminars. Today, we will be presenting polyols for polyurethane coatings. So I will be presenting, that is me, Alan Menezes, will also be presenting along with my colleague, Mr. Ravindra Mukavar. So both of us will be presenting this presentation. So I think we can start off with the presentation. But before we start with the presentation, I just wanted to lay some ground rules. Ground rule number one is all the participants, I request you to switch off your cameras. So I think almost everybody has switched off their cameras. And ground rule number two, request you to please put your mics on mute mode. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can keep it to yourself and ask it at the end of the presentation. Or if there is a question that is really obstructing you and you would like to instantly ask, then we have no issues. You can go ahead, unmute your mic and go ahead and ask this question and interrupt us in between. We will not have any problems. You know, if it is a small group, we prefer it to be an interactive session. But since this is a big group with now 140 participants, I think questions coming in will be more, will delay our overall presentation. So we want to start, 11:10 is what we've started. We want to finish off the entire presentation and the question and answers by 12 so that we keep the time limit that is specified to all of us. So once again, good morning, everyone. Our presentation today is about polyols for polyurethane coatings. Like I said, Ravindra is assisting me. So in this presentation, first, we would like to give an introduction about the company, which is Cardolite. Some of you are aware about the company. Some of you may not be aware about the company, the products. So we will go a little brief about the company, about the products, and then we will come down to the actual topic, which is CNSL based polyols for PU coating. So in that, we will be touching base on typical properties of a polyol, its application into adhesive and coating and the performances, adhesion to non-metal substrates, as well as certain potting applications. So to start off with Cardolite, Cardolite is a US-based company. Cardolite is a US-based company. It's been over 35 years of our existence under this particular brand name. So we have around 300 employees out there in Cardolite globally. We are the world leaders in cashew nut shell liquid technology. So CNSL, that is our main backbone. So most of the products that we speak about, you can say 90% of the products that we have in the range are based on this particular backbone, which is cashew nut shell liquid, CNSL. To go to the history, we said 35 years of our existence under this brand name, but we started way back in 1926, and it was under the name of Harville Corporation. So at that point of time, we used to do some friction resins and certain insulating varnishes. That's how we started off. This was in New Jersey, back then in 1926. Later on in 1953, the company was taken over by 3M. 3M is a very well-known brand, known to everybody. So we became 3M in 1953, and this is when 3M built up a small little plant in New Jersey. The old plant was demolished and a nice plant was built out there in New Jersey. In 1972, which is not mentioned here, the actual product line, which is phenylcamines, was invented. So we started selling phenylcamines in 1972. That was the invention. It was done by 3M. And since the products were moving more towards coatings, because it found its application more into coatings rather than abrasives, 3M decided to sell off this small unit, and it was sold to our current chairman, Mr. Tony Thomas, who is an American citizen and who was the plant head of this particular plant. So it was sold to us, and then Mr. Tony Thomas, who's our chairman, renamed it from 3M to 3C, which is our logo, which is Cardolite Chemical Corporation. So from 1984 till today, it's been 35 years of our existence under this brand name of Cardolite. And we have a variety of products which would be touching base on. So to go through the product line, we have epoxy curing agents. Now, like I said, most products are based on CNSL, but we also have some Me Too chemistries because that was the demand from the industry. So we have phenylcamines, we have phenylcamides. Now, phenylcamides give you the best of properties of a phenylcamine as well as a polyamide. Then, like I said, we have Me Too chemistry, so we also have polyamides. We have modified cycloaliphatic amines based on CNSL and the Me Too chemistry, which is based on IPDA as well. We have epoxy resins and modifiers, reactive and non-reactive epoxy diluents, hydrocarbon resins, polyols and diols, which we will be touching base in detail. Then we have something called NCO blocking agents, which is used for blocking isocyanate so that you have a 1K polyurethane system. So this is for the pre-polymer manufacturing. Then we have the other two product lines are slightly new. We are almost finishing our work on CNSL based silence, and we've just launched our CNSL based methacrylates, which go into various applications like inks and 3D printing and all that other applications. Then we have CNSL based surfactants. Now these surfactants, because of the structure which I'll be explaining, give the surfactant effect. So we have EO1, EO5, EO7, 11 and 12 as well. So ethoxylates. Then we have our friction products. Now this has been into our basket right from 1926. So we have been producing those friction resins right from then, and we still continue to produce those products. Brown and black particles primarily go into brake linings. So practically your car brakes or the buses, the trucks, the railway block brakes that you see, all these products somewhere or the other have our friction products in there. So we have a 70%, around 60 to 70% market share for the brake linings industry globally. Then we have CNSL based specialties. Now these are our high purity cardanols, which we also sell as nonylphenol replacements. Then we have our range of Formulite. Now this is a separate industry altogether. So we have this brand which is trademarked and it goes into composite applications. So coming to the market, so the different types of markets that we cater, we have our majority market is coatings. Since the products have very good anti-corrosive properties and low temperature cure and other properties which I'll be touching down, the majority of our sales comes from coatings. So you could say around 70% to, approximately 70% of our sale comes from coatings. Now in this, we have marine and protective, which is our biggest chunk. We have industrial coatings and OEM coatings. We have transportation coatings, anywhere from the railways to container coatings that we do. And we have concrete flooring, products for concrete flooring, which is much moving into the Indian market as well. So we have the products for primers as well as top coats. Then we have products for adhesives. So adhesives is one more market that we cater a lot. These go into construction adhesives, transportation adhesives, electronics, casting and potting. Like we just spoke about, we have products for composites. Now this is a separate market that we have. The automotive brake pads and drum linings is something that is going on for years together. And very recently have we entered into rigid and flexible foam, not more into flexible, but more into rigid because of the insulation properties and the high heat resistance that the products deliver. So global presence, like we spoke, the green dot, our headquarters is based in Bristol today. So we were in New Jersey, and then the plant was slowly closed and we shifted our R&D and entire head office and warehousing facility to one location, which is now in Bristol, Pennsylvania. Then we have our two plants which are in red, which are both in India as well as Zhuhai. So India, we have a plant in Mangalore. Zhuhai is in China, which is close to Hong Kong. Our own sales offices in Europe, in Singapore, as well as in Japan, other than these locations. So like I said, manufacturing locations, we have two, ultra modern facilities. One is in Zhuhai, which was built in 2004, the first photograph on top. The second photograph out there is Mangalore, which was built in 2013. We started operations completely in 2014. Both these plants put together have a capacity of 100,000 metric tons. In this 100,000 metric tons, we have epoxies, polyols, curing agents, friction, all put together. Both these locations are strategically located close to the Po. Both are in special economic zone designed for exports, 24/7, zero discharge facilities. So we are a green plant, whether it is China or India, both are green plants, giving nothing to the atmosphere, but producing products from a renewable resource. Okay, safety and health wise, we are ISO 9000, ISO 50,000, ISO 14,000, OSHA 18,000. And now we are going in for the new set of health policies, which is responsive care. So we are already in the process of enrolling for and getting our approvals for responsive care very soon. Next slide. We have research and development facilities in 3 different locations. One is our head office, which is Bristol. Second is in Zhuhai. Third is in Mangalore. Now, other than these 3 facilities, we have another facility which is in Italy, which is a joint collaboration. So it's under the name of AEP Polymers. Now, the Italian lab works primarily on composites and foam application, whereas all these 3 labs work on coatings, and the US lab and the China lab also works on adhesives as well as friction. We have a team of more than 25 dedicated scientists out here. The good part is, since our chairman is a chemical engineer himself, he believes in innovation, and that is why we put a lot of resource in our R&D. So we have a good team of R&D with a lot of experience, and we are capable of handling all these technologies, which is alkoxylation, amination, hydrogenation, condensation, epoxidization, and hydrolysis. So to come to the basic molecule or our heart, our raw material comes from here, which is cashew. So you must have seen the cashew fruit, and you have the cashew nut, which is below the fruit. So this is basically the cashew nut, a cross section of the nut, which is called a raw cashew nut. 50% by weight is the fiber, is the shell. 25% by weight is the cashew nut that we consume, which is the food chain. And 25% is the cashew oil. Now this 25% cashew oil is our basic raw material. So we also have products from this oil, which is the first, our building block is cardinal. Now that is registered in a lot of places as a bio-based product.
Artificial.
Next slide. So what do? We buy the CNSL, which is the oil. We distill it ourselves and we get cardinal. Like I said, it is our basic building block. This cardinal is further reacted or epoxified or reacted with amines to get all these products for coatings, adhesives, application. What is remaining, that is the distillation bottoms, the higher molecular weight products, that plus part of the cardinal, we further polymerize it. And this polymerized cake is broken down into fine particles, which is called friction dust, which we sell to the brake lining industry. So now you understand why we said we are zero discharge facility. Now it is because everything is consumed out there. Next. So this is our base molecule. Now, as far as you understand the base molecule, you will understand all the properties that come for CNSL based products, whether it is a phenylcamine, whether it is a curing agent, a polyol, or a reactive diluent. Every product based on CNSL will have these properties. Now, this is the base molecule of CNSL. So if you look on the top, it has an open OH group, which gives you fast cure, low temperature cure, as well as excellent adhesion. You have the phenolic ring. The phenolic ring gives you high thermal resistance, fire resistance, as well as chemical resistance. And we have the long chain, which gives excellent water resistance, moisture resistance, that is hydrophobicity, flexibility, good surface tension, and water wetting properties. Now, that is why we spoke about the surfactants. It gives a natural surfactant effect. Next. So coming to the basics, which is curing agents, we have phenylcamines. Now, the basic reason why phenylcamines are sold is, I already touched it down, fast and low temperature cure. So majority of our sale comes from the colder climates. Low VOCs, we have waterborne products out there. Now, yesterday we had a presentation, a beautiful presentation by Dow. And I remember there were some queries of single pack water-based systems. So let me tell you, we have these waterborne systems as well, which though the products have excellent water resistance, we've come up with waterborne products out there. So we have phenylcamines, which are waterborne as well, and which are completely water resistant as well. Then we have excellent, from phenylcamines, you get excellent corrosion protection, chemical resistance, and the best property is surface tolerance. So even if your surface preparation is not up to the mark, there is a little bit of rusty substrate out there, it still gives you very good adhesion. So failure mode is very less. Then we have phenylcamides, which give you the best of both. So they give you the properties of a polyamide, like good flexibility, a longer pot life, a better overcoatability, fast recoatability, but at the same time properties of a phenylcamines, which we already spoke. So, you know, it is a product designed and produced by us. It is just given the name phenylcamides because it gives you the best of both the chemistries. And that's the whole chemistry. And that's what the whole chemistry is all about. Then we have polyamides. Now, you are all known to polyamides, so I need not go into details. And we have epoxy systems for certain specific composite applications. Then we have our modifiers. Now, these modifiers are particularly giving you the first advantage that it gives is cutting down of the viscosity. So for high solid formulations, instead of solvents, you can use modifiers. It may be reactive or non-reactive, but at the same time, because it is CNSL based, it gives you excellent hydrophobicity, excellent flexibility, low volatility, low odor, and then of course it's natural, renewable resource, so non-toxic when it comes to the certification. We have resins as well, but these are into different applications. So we do not sell much of these CNSL based resins, but we have a lot of reactive diluents which can be considered as the resins. Next slide, please. Then we have CNSL derivatives. Now these are polyols that we are going to speak more in detail about. So we have both diols as well as polyols. Now, again, like I said, because these are based on CNSL or they may be non-CNSL based as well. So we have both the ranges. We have CNSL based polyols as well as non-CNSL based polyols. But particularly when we speak about the CNSL based polyols, they give you excellent hydrophobic properties, very good alkali resistance, good mechanical properties, and flexibility at the same time. Then we have certain products that we spoke already about NCO blocking. We have diols, which we are not covering. And then polyurethane systems based on these polyols, which can go into various applications, including case application foam. So we sell to rigid polyols for the foam, for the rigid foam application. And it also goes into composite application. So the next slide onwards, it is more detailed about CNSL based polyols. So I think I have already spoken a lot. I've taken half of the time. Now, instead of boring you with my boring voice, let me hand it over to my colleague, Ravindra Mukhavar. So the presentation from here onwards would be taken care of by Ravindra Mukhavar, and I would be assisting in case it is required. And then we will be open for question and answers. So next slide. And Ravindra, I hand it over to you.
Yeah.
Could you please take over?
Thank you and good morning all. And thanks first of all, IPCAR, to give this opportunity to give us the product and sharing the knowledge. This is a good platform, and in lockdown period, we can share our knowledge. And thank you once again, IPCAR, to organize this kind of webinar. So as Alan mentioned, we'll start with the polyols. So as I mentioned, we have CNSL based polyol and some of the non-CNSL means castor based polyol. If you look at my slide number 17, so NX 9001 is mostly based on the CNSL based product, and we also have a light grade. If you look at the CNSL, little bit dark color, which is a less moisture sensitivity and better alkali resistance. But other polyol, which is non-CNSL, mostly on the castor based polyol, like the series of 9005, 908, 9011, which is better. So these polyols we design mostly application in the coatings, some of the floor coating area, some of the PU coating area, some potting application area, and some normal coating application. So these are the range. I'll touch base on the mechanical property. What is the, so normally polyol we can mix with the polymeric MDI sites.
व्हिडिओ नको चालू ठेवू, व्हिडिओ बंद कर, व्हिडिओ बंद.
9001 CNSL base, but CNSL base have better moisture sensitivity. So this is the sum of the slide, and we generate this data based on the Dustmuller 44V22L or PAPIS. This is from the Dow. We use the polymeric MDI. And 9008, one of our product which have a better high strength polyol, which normally in the some of the application area in the composite we recommended 9008. And recently we launched one product which is a new, in my next slide we have a better UV resistant property, that is called 9014. So I'll go to next slide, slide number 19. As I mentioned, this is some of the properties of curing speed. So if you look at the light 9001, have a fast curing property compared to other polyol like castor based polyol, because this CNSL polyol have a better fast drying. If you look at 9001 normal, but this is a better fast drying property compared to 9011 and 9005. Even 9011, one of our polyol is, we got success in Indian market for floor coating application area. In some of the area where pure concrete, where you need a good abrasion resistance, a good car parking area, airport terminal kind of application area. Nowadays, polyurea coating is applied on those areas. So these are the some of the application area where you can use it, having a better strain mechanical properties as well as a better hardness property. Yeah, as I mentioned, one of the product recently we launched, if you look at the purple color, 9014 will give you a better yellowing comparative. We done some of the work with the current market, and we use here aliphatic isosonate, not on the aromatic polymeric MDI. We here in the aliphatic side we use Dustmuller, one of our Covestro grade N3390. Based on that, we generate the data. So it shows against the competitor, it's a better UV property, is NX9014. Yeah. And this slide shows we done some moisture sensitivity testing data. How we done? We take it polyol with the isocyanate. Sometimes polyol will react with isocyanate, and sometimes isocyanate react with the water. So here this data, then we check the CO2 evolution test. What is mean by CO2 evolution? If the lesser value, if you look at 9001, it shows only 6. It means it's a less moisture sensitivity because of nature of hydrophobic of this 9001 compared to the castor based polyol. If you look at the 9001, other series have a almost higher. So it shows less moisture sensitivity of the 9000, our CNSL based polyol. And you have a reduced moisture sensitivity because in the polyol normally is very, this kind of technologies, CNSL based polyol have a less moisture sensitivity. And also we check the hydrolytic stability. We check some of the data, and these polyols have a better adhesion on the even SS surface as well. Even this product have a better adhesion on the concrete. So this data shows the hydrolytic stability when we react with the isocyanate with the water, and some of the polyol like 9001, see this reduction in the less almost 26, and even other polyol 9005, 9011 shows lesser compared to the castor, normal castor based polyol if we compare also. So this is one of the better polyol for lesser hydrolytic stability. We check mostly on the 80-degree for 7 days immersion test, particularly for this polyol. And as I mentioned, this polyol, slide number 23, these polyol have a better alkali resistance compared to castor-based polyol. This is another advantage in the CNSL. If you look at this slide, CNSL, we compare and generate data in our lab. And if you look at the comparative castor-based having blisters, when you check 30 days immersion test with the sodium hydroxide, but CNSL polyols have a better alkali resistance. This is another advantage in the polyol. Some of the application area in the submerged pipeline, those kind of application area, you can use this kind of polyol. And even our polyols, we done the testing, some of the non-metal application area, like some of the automotive areas application, where you want to develop some adhesives, those kind of application. Even our 9005 have a better adhesion. Even some of the application like nylon, polypropylene carbonate, PVC, even have some of the surface area, PVC substrate also have a better adhesion. Even 9008, one of our product, which normally have a better high strength polyol, and we suggested some of the application area in the composite, some of the new windmill application area, you can apply polyurethane PU coat system based on this kind of polyol. Yeah. So another, our polyols have these slides, little bit busy slides, but the takeaway of this slide is mostly some of our modifiers, as Alan earlier mentioned, some of the modifiers we have, but some of the modifier also we can use in the epoxy system, like Light 9001. This is the polyol we use with epoxy system. Like Ultralight 513, Light 2100, these are the polyol modifiers which help us reduce the viscosity, and these modifiers have a better water resistant property and also have a better thermal shock resistance. So wherever some of the application area where you need, so these are the CNSL modifier have a good solution to this kind of application area. So as a summarize, so these are the CNSL polyols have a natural resources as a CNSL cashew and a castor base. It's not on the petrochemical source. These are the natural based renewable source polyols. These polyols have a better, excellent chemical resistance, alkali resistance, and this application mostly on the coating and the concrete as well as metal. Some of the application area in the potting, and we recently launched the product in foam, have a better fire retardancy property because CNSL give a better fire retardancy property. These are some of the application area where CNSL polyols work. Yeah, I'll open to the questions. If you have any questions, you can give an answer.
Yeah, Ravindra, before we do that, a request, go to your screen and just clear those lines. So you have a option to clear those lines. Yeah, these ones. It is mistakenly available or somebody has done it, but you have to clear those lines. Yeah, yeah. Just, it is on the screen, nothing else. So you can put the screen back, but there is an option, probably
Sure.
you'll have to get it off. Anyways, you can come to the last slide and keep it over there. We will keep it for the time being. So we are open for questions. We have our email ID is also over there. But any questions now,
Yeah,
you can.
I'm
the
Deepak
group can
Maheshwari.
unmute and go ahead and ask questions.
Yeah, Ravindra, I am Deepak Maheshwari
Yes,
from
Deepak, sir.
Deva Paints, Ghaziabad.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I was looking for some
Yes, yes.
quality of polyols for flexible foams. Make
Flexible foams.
temperature, the thermal insulation coatings.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So can you guide us on the subject?
Yeah, we can. We have some product for thermal insulation property, because I mentioned our polyols have better thermal resistant property, but your application in the flexible foam. You're looking for
Yeah, flexible foam in the sense we need to have that kind of flexibility in the substrate also,
Okay.
like rubber.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we have product, and we'll send you some details. Just send us a detail, and we can forward you some product details.
We have already shared our mail ID with you.
Okay.
Okay.
So in that case, if you have something separately, you just send this to us.
Sure. We'll note it that, and we'll send it to you.
And secondly, you talked about the cardinols. I mean, basically your CNSL based polyols.
Yeah.
In fact, I know your products. Long back, one of your guys visited us, and we discussed. But when they sent the samples, it was too dark samples. Means basically, we are in clear coatings mainly. So it is not possible to make a clear coat on this with your products, basically, as far as cardinols are concerned.
Yeah, you're right. If you look at I'll share this presentation, but if you look at slide, we have slide number 17. As I mentioned, all CNSL base are a little bit dark, but we have some solution. If you particularly one,
but as far as your data sheet says that your cardinols, all type of cardinols are having a yellowing property. Once the clear coating is made and it is yellowing after a few days, then it has no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So point is that we need a non-yellowing product as far as clear is concerned.
Okay.
Without
Sir, in
yellowing
case,
property,
yeah. Deepak sir, if it is non-yellowing products, I think our products will not do the favor for you, because these are aromatic background. Now, anything that has an aromatic background, you know it very well, has the tendency of yellowing.
okay.
So the product has a tendency of yellowing. Even if I give you the most lightest color that we have is probably color 5, and still it will have that yellowing tendency. So that is an inbuilt characteristic of
My
CNSL-based products, which I cannot.
let me share with you. My work of making coatings for this kind of this purpose is for steel SS.
Yeah.
So you know that all companies, they are making steel utensils. They need coatings for designing. And again, all the kind of products need to pass 50 cycles of dishwasher test.
Okay.
Correct.
And what I understand, the cardinals can do better, but since they have a tendency of yellowing, so we just can't do this. If you have something,
So is it a PU that you need, or is it you can also go ahead with an epoxy?
In broad ways, it is needed with PUs, because epoxies are not at all making the export quality because of bisphenol A.
Correct.
So basically, in RoHS compliances, we need to have a product in polyurethane only.
In this case, I would suggest you can go with the castor base, because you have concern with the color. So you can go with some of the polyol, which is a better UV resistant property, which we recently launched. And we'll touch base on that and we'll revert you, sir.
Definitely, I would like to have
for those
your
kind of-
products.
Yeah.
So there are two. One is flexible foams I am looking for, and another one is the for steel purpose. Your cardinals, polyols.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Hello, Ravinder.
Yes.
I have a doubt. I'm Akash from Lakshmi Pen Industries, Jodhpur, Rajasthan.
Yes. Tell me, Akash.
I have gone through your slides, like your phenylcamine
Hmm.
agents. Are they susceptible to direct coatings, like those coatings that are direct to metals and steels?
Yes. Yeah. We have also, as I mentioned, my colleague, phenylcamide, this kind of product technology.
I'm asking about phenylcamines, MINE.
Okay.
Phenylcamine, are they susceptible to direct coatings, like without primers and unprepared surfaces? And those can be any surfaces. Those can be steel. Those surfaces can be metal, steel, any surfaces. Because in protective coatings, they don't use primers, and they don't use any prepared base primers. They directly spray single coat or double coat system, and that too on an unprepared surface.
Correct. Mr. Sorry, I didn't get your name, but
Akash.
Akash, Mr. Akash, actually the products have, like we said, very good surface tolerance. So you can go ahead with poorly prepared surfaces as well as different types of substrates. So we have a product line which can adhere to SS, MS, aluminium, GI. So no issues with that.
Can you suggest me the name of the product?
It depends on your total application. That means what is it that you exactly need, because there are over-engineered products also that we have. There are basic phenylcamines also that we have that can serve your purpose. So it depends on what you want.
My purpose is hello.
Yeah, Akash.
My purpose is single coat high DFT coating on epoxy that can be susceptible to every kind of surfaces. The surface would be steel, metal, anything, but it should not peel off, and it should be water resistant and low curing also. Now,
Water resistant, low curing, you will get all this, but when it comes to UV, so let me just put this point clear. When it comes to UV, because it's an epoxy, it will have that tendency to yellow, but it will have good UV stability as well. But the yellow is good. If you're okay with that, we have products.
I'm definitely okay with that, because that are only on interior basis only. That is not being used in exterior coating.
Okay, interior.
Okay, we have UL 2009 that can serve your purpose. We also have a phenylcamide range, which even light 3040 or light 3025 can serve your purpose. Okay, and a general phenylcamine also will serve your purpose. So even the UL 2009 is a top quality phenylcamine, which is color 1. So it has got excellent UV stability. That is something we sell to the flooring guys as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Color stability, good exterior stability.
Okay.
Yeah, it has good. It has adhesion to glass. So if it has adhesion to glass, it should give you adhesion to all these different substrates. Correct?
Okay. Also, one more thing: the color gardener would be less than 8, or it would be.
It's color 1.
Max is 2.
The ultralight.
Okay.
Absolutely transparent. Absolutely transparent.
Akash, please send your details so we can connect again.
Yeah.
Or else you have the details, our details at least, the phone number as well as the email ID on the screen. You can just put it across to us, any of us.
So, can I just drop me my mail ID so you can revert me over it?
Okay.
I'm dropping my mail ID to Mr. Ravinder.
Yeah. Okay.
No problem.
Right.
Just put it in the chat and I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, I'm dropping my mail ID. You just send me the products, and also I'll be sending my query also. So you can get me the detailed description of the products, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello. This is. Can you hear me?
Just here from.
Yes.
Manu.
Yeah. This is Manu Gupta from
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Bhopal.
Yeah, Manuji, tell me.
Sir, we are basically defense manufacturer. We manufacture rare coatings for defense with very specific requirements. I'm looking basically for a water-based product. Number one, water-based. It has to be green. It has to be water-based, low VOC,
Mm-hmm.
which
Okay.
can be applied on a concrete as a varnish. You see, we
Okay.
have one industry here
We
which
have a
makes
product.
these concrete blocks.
Okay.
Just let me complete. See, I have experimented a lot, so that is why that is why I'm trying to discuss it with you, so that we can arrive at product.
Okay.
Actually, now this company gives these concrete blocks to some European company, and they put a varnish over it, which is water based. The problem with the varnish is it can be epoxy or PU based. That is not the issue at all.
Okay.
The problem is it takes around 7 days
Cure.
for epoxy to cure. See, these blocks are quite huge. They are around 1 ton or 500 kgs at least.
Mm.
And then when they
Okay.
stack it together, this varnish would come out. First thing. Secondly,
Okay.
they do some marking over these varnishes
Mm-hmm.
with a marker pen. They with a normal whiteboard pen, they mark over it. Okay. Now these marks are to identify those blocks. When they arrive in the European countries, they should be rubbed off. They are supposed to be rubbed off.
Okay.
But after 10-15 days, what we see is that those marks become permanent. Do you have
Okay.
any solution for these two issues?
Hmm.
Now, as far as the marker is concerned, Mr. Manu, I am not aware, because what we will do is we will just take a panel in the lab and mark it and see what happens. But as far as the water-based coating that was required for you for the concrete blocks, we have it in store. So it is a product called NX8101, which can be used with your normal epoxy resin, the normal liquid
Okay.
epoxy resin. So say a YD128 type.
Okay, this
Or
is
B11
clear varnish. This is clear in, or it is dark in color.
Yeah, it is clear. It is clear in, no, it is clear
And
in
what is the
performance.
curing
It is
time?
clear in color.
Mm-hmm.
The curing time 4 hours is hard dry.
4 hours and complete cure would be?
You have a working, 4 hours is hard dry. Complete cure would take around 10 hours.
Okay.
So it is within a day. It's
Water
fast.
It is within a day.
Yeah, it's fast.
Okay. What is the pot life approximate?
The pot life would be around 30 to 40 minutes.
30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, at 25
Okay,
degrees
that would
Celsius,
do.
we talk about 45 minutes. But at these temperatures, I would say around 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, that marker pen, your problem with marker pen, I'm Dikesh Patel.
Yeah,
Your curing is not properly enough. Then if the marker pen is doing on it's mixed with that system, and when it actually curing time is long, your but what you say 7 days, but actually your curing time is almost 21 days. When you mark after 21 days, na, you rub it. Means your hardness is not properly done.
Okay.
Your system is not hard properly because
correct.
when
That is why it has gone into the system.
Gone into the system.
That is why I think the solvent would penetrate the system.
Yeah, and other thing, it's your water-based system now. You have to use high TG product. You have to improve your TG of that system. So actually, if you increase your TG, it gives you a good result.
Okay. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Manu, could I have your contact details? Because at least the phone
I'll
number.
send you my contact details. I have your email address.
Okay.
Oh, great.
I'll send it on you. I'll send it to you.
Any other questions?
Alan, can you throw light on your castor oil based polyols for flooring a little bit? Can you throw a little bit more light on the same, please?
Yeah, Madhavan sir, particularly this polyol have a better adhesion, particularly as I mentioned 9005 9011. some customer do a blend and have a better adhesion on the concrete flooring, because nowadays some trend is showing moving from epoxy to PU, and these kind of solutions are there for better concrete protection on the PU system, because having good chemical resistant property, good water resistant property, abrasion resistant property. So you can use this kind of product in your car parking area application, some of the area like air terminal coating, those kind of application area, you can use this castor based modified polymer. And as I color also have around 5 color. So particularly
Now, Ravi, what I was looking at is, do you have a comparative data available based on your in-house testings about what is going to be the difference between these castor oil-based formulated products vis-a-vis your epoxy coatings or your polyurethane coatings when it comes to your car parking?
CNSL based.
Yeah, we done basic level data, like the comparison, given some slide on that CNSL versus castor based polyol and the comparatively UV comparison data. That help us, and even some mechanical property like lap shear strength, mechanical property.
Can you just share it to me on my, can you?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Sure.
What you can do is you can just send me on my mail.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, sir. I'll send it detail on the in your email ID. Sir.
Any other question from the participants?
Hi, this is Deepak from Select Paints. I just want to know about the coatings on polypropylene.
On, sorry?
Polypropylene.
Okay.
One of your polyols, I think NX 9005. You have shown in that table.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it a direct or it is applied with the CPOs?
No, this application that was done was direct with the isocyanate.
Direct with isocyanate. It's no base coats and no primers coats have been applied.
Yeah. It was just done as a simple application just to check.
Just note on my sample request for that. I will put on my mail.
Please.
Okay.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you very much for a very nice presentation. Thanks, Ravinder ji.
Thank you, Deepak ji.
Thank you.
We'll share details, sir. Deepak ji.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you, Mr. Ellen. Hello, I am Sagar Goyal.
Yeah. Yes.
So thank you very much. Any other questions?
वीडियो ऑन कर लो अब.
Hello.
वीडियो ऑन कर लो सागर जी.
आप होस्ट है सर, आप होस्ट है, आप कर सकते हो वीडियो ऑन, हम नहीं कर सकते.
See, one last question from my side. I am Harish Agarwal this side.
Yeah, please, sir.
This is for the construction chemical. Basically, for the expansion joint, polysulfide sealants are used.
Correct.
Do you have any product that can replace the polysulfide sealant with your product?
Nice. To be very specific, no, we don't have it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Because that's a different chemistry, so I don't want to cross over with the different chemistry.
Hello.
Yeah.
The question is answered?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So thank you very much, Mr. Ellen and Mr. Ravinder, for giving valuable inputs. Actually, a lot of questions which I think new to everybody, and they can also benefit of the questions which are given answered by Mr. Ellen and Mr. Ravinder. So today we got to know a lot of knowledge on phenylcamines, phenylcamides, polyol for polyurethanes, and this is very important that how these environment-friendly products can do wonders in our coatings by using these products through natural way. And these products are zero discharged when they are manufactured at the facility of Cardolite Corporation. So once again, I thank you. Thanks a lot to Mr. Ellen and Ravinder.
Thanks a lot. Once again, thanks a lot, Mr. Sagar, for giving us this opportunity. And I think we were dot on time. We
Yeah.
started on time and we ended exactly at 12. So that's an accomplishment.
Yes. This is our first webinar, which has started on time and ended on time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you, sir.
It is a very focused, presentation.